Welcome aboard Delta Airlines. Please enjoy your flight, and thanks for choosing Delta.
Jody Avirgan here. Thanks for listening to ESPN Film's 30 for 30 podcasts from the producers of the award-winning 30 for 30 series. These new audio documentaries are an incredible collection of sports stories you need to hear to believe. It's really a win-win. Delta Airlines makes your travel experience easy and enjoyable with real-time bag tracking, e-boarding, and passport scanning during check-in. And ESPN's 30 for 30 podcasts make your in-flight time rich with stories that will keep you coming back for more. So sit back, relax, and keep listening to some of the most compelling sports stories ever told.
It is time to wake and take with Stugatz. Call now. 786-456-4837. If you are out of the area, 786-456-4837 might not work. You might have to dial 1-786-456-4837. It might sound the same as 786-456-4837, but it is not. You need to add the one before 786-456-4837. It's standard practice for long-distance calls. So again, if you're out of the area, do not dial 786-456-4837. Dial 1-786-456-4837. That's 786-456-4837. But only if you're out of the area. No, wait. If you're out of the area, it's actually 1-786-456-4837. My bad. Sorry. That one's on me. Like the one before, 786-456-4837. Okay, let's go through this one more time. From the top. If you're out of the area, dial 1-786-456-4837. If you are not out of the area, just dial 786-456-4837. Call now.
It is Wake and Take here on 790 The Ticket. Greg Cote's in as our guest co-host today. Good morning, Greg.
Good morning.
And Batard is back.
Woo!
And it is August, and I am sad to say... Really, I'm not, because I don't have to work as much. Wake and Take no longer exists.
What do you mean?
Dan, listen, it's your show. I don't want to do this hour differently than how we do every other hour on the show.
I think we should do Wake and Take for a while. I think that we should just do this, and I'll fit in.
All right, 786-456-4837. 786-456-4837. I have research. I have notes. I read 4 articles last night. It is your job to get that research and get those notes out of me. Let's go to Josh, Dan. Line 1. Josh.
Josh, you're on ESPN Radio. You're on 790 The Ticket. Go ahead, Josh.
You good, Dan?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
You good, Sue?
Yeah, I'm good. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. You good, Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, we're good.
All right.
Long live Wake and Take. You should do Wake and Take, Dan.
Okay, let's do Wake and Take.
Well, he's doing it.
You good, Roy?
I'm doing it.
All right.
You good?
Hey, how you doing? How you doing, Cody?
I couldn't be better.
Sweet.
Okay. That's where you draw the line?
Good call.
Was a good call. Rash 'em. 786-456-4837. Before we get back to your phone calls, I'm not going to interview Mike today because that would be rude to our guest co-host, Greg Cote, so I'm going to interview Greg. And Greg, before the show, you were telling me that the Canes are great at every single position with the exception of the quarterback position. That seems to be up in the air right now.
Very much so. Yeah, I spoke to Mark Rick yesterday. He would have loved to have had a quarterback coming out of spring practice, and a lot of people thought it might be Malik Rozier, the veteran, who's a junior. But he didn't win the job, and now I think internally they're praying that this true freshman from Ocala, N'Kosi Perry, comes in and just blows the door off the joint and wins the job, because obviously the two returning veterans weren't able to do that in the spring. How's that for real data, real information?
It was great information.
Thank you.
Love it. Brought something to the table today. Dan, you got anything on that?
I feel like what he brought to the table is something that everyone knows. That they can't be any good because their quarterback's not going to be any good.
Well, I didn't say that.
Whoa! You can't say they can't be any good.
Right?
They'll be fine. They have a great running back. They just need to know what they have in a true freshman quarterback.
We've seen winning bleep in that sport without a quarterback.
Oh, really? Yeah, I agree. But
you think they're Alabama?
No, but you can't dismiss them because they have a freshman quarterback. We've seen, especially in recent history, several good teams climb to New Year's Day bowls with freshman quarterbacks, including the aforementioned Alabama.
How do you define a quarterback? Because Alabama's got on this incredible run without an NFL quarterback.
You guys are the best. Okay, yeah, they'll be Alabama. All right.
I'm not saying they're going to be Alabama. No one's saying that.
I'm not sure what Dan's doing. We're not disagreeing that they need a quarterback. I think Dan's dismissing that they can have a quarterback.
Good. They can't be any good without a quarterback. They'll win 8 or 9 games, but they can't be special.
That's not any sort of good take, though. Now, are you telling me N'Kosi Perry can't be a good quarterback?
Not as a true freshman.
Okay, well, that's where we draw the line and disagree. Because we've seen in recent history several quarterbacks be good as a freshman.
Didn't FSU get a pretty good freshman year out of DeAndre Francois?
It's happening all the time now in college football. Freshman quarterbacks are making immediate impacts all the time.
All right, and what was playing for the championship last year? A lot of freshman quarterbacks?
I believe one, Jalen Hurts.
Yep, Hurts.
For the championship.
Jalen Hurts, Alabama.
Yeah, they lost
outside of Alabama. Don't make them.
It was Deshaun Watson for Clemson.
This is what we're going to do.
FSU.
This is what we're going to do. Okay, you guys now.
How many times do we have to disprove your theory?
Mike, disprove my theory, Mike. For 10 years, the U is back. For 10 damn years around here, we've been doing the U is back for 10 years, and now you guys are going to do it again. You've been wrong for 10 years.
Watch the tone.
You have been wrong more than 10 years. 15 years we've been doing this show every damn year. This time of year, this is the conversation we're having. You guys are telling me that the U is back, and they've won like 2 important games since then, and one of them was over a bad Oklahoma team, and Randy Shannon eventually got fired.
Miami has a great head coach, which they haven't had in 10 years. They just are coming off a season where they won their first bowl game in 10 years. They have a defense that's expected to be one of the top 10 in the country. They have a dynamic receiver in Amon Richards, a great running back in Mark Walton.
Agreed on everything that you're saying. Everything. I don't disagree with anything that you're saying. This is also true. For 15 years, I've been telling you you're wrong about the University of Miami, and for 15 years, you've been wrong.
But eventually, we'll be right.
There's no denying that. There's no denying what Dan's saying in that regard, but it is different. You see the recruiting. There is a different momentum behind this program right now.
They have athletes. They're not Alabama, and if you're not Alabama, you're not winning bleep with a true freshman quarterback. You're not winning anything.
Well, they're not Alabama's down the road. What they're not right now is FSU. I mean, they need to get out of their own conference. They haven't beaten FSU 7 games in a row. That's the hurdle. That to the Dolphins, what New England is, FSU is to UM, and that's the hurdle. It's not Alabama.
You guys always put me in this position, though. It's been the same thing with the Marlins for a while. You put me in these positions where I'm the negative guy. I'm the negative guy in June and July and August, but I'm always right about this.
Right.
And then the next year we do it again.
I got to be honest. You put yourself in this position. Greg just gave a kind of a recap, a preview of what he thinks the Canes are going to be, and talked about the quarterback position, and you get all fired up about it. I mean,
yeah, sight unseen. You just dismiss N'Kosi Perry.
No, it's not that it's sight. Of course, it's sight unseen because I haven't seen him play. Of course. It's just I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this dance that we do.
Well, you treat optimism like castor oil. I mean, learn to appreciate. Learn to be optimistic.
No, I'm realistic. I'm relentlessly realistic.
But you're making it seem like it's impossible that they can have a good contribution from a freshman quarterback when even this program with lesser teams have had positive freshman seasons from Ja'Cory Harris, Brad Kaya. What Greg Cote is saying right now is basically you just need that from your quarterback position as a true freshman. And you've seen it twice in recent history from this program as they've struggled. If they get just that, they should be really good.
Yes. I mean, if they're as good surrounding the quarterback as I think they'll be, the quarterback just has to be pretty good.
This is my point. Okay?
We're developing
this is my
Perry.
point. As good a freshman quarterback as I've ever seen is Josh Rosen at UCLA.
Yep.
And what? How did that work out for them? As good as I've seen, because you got to allow these guys to grow into what it is that they will become, and they're simply not ready as true freshmen. Hell, as a second-year freshman, Kenny Dorsey walked onto the field at Virginia Tech and admits that he almost wet himself. He was terrified. That's Ken Dorsey. Almost wet himself.
Right. I mean, Jameis won a national championship as a redshirt freshman.
Okay, so there you go. So that's what it's going to be. All right, let's do it that way.
Just saying,
so Miami's going to be a combination of Alabama and the single best college football team I've ever seen, which is that Jameis Winston FSU team. That's what Miami's going to be?
There's a chance.
You're comparing Miami against the best team.
So are you guys.
As if they're... No, I'm not.
No, when you say the U is back, that's what you're doing.
First of all, I never use the phrase the U is back.
When people are saying the U is back, that's what they're doing.
No, I don't think they are.
No one said the U is back. They just said that they're really good at every position, and the biggest question mark is quarterback, just because none of us have seen it. But you dismiss the idea of a freshman quarterback. We've seen so many times. There's countless examples of freshman quarterbacks coming in and taking a good team and keeping them good and not being something that nukes their season. It's a different time now.
How's the defense?
Excellent.
Well, you know what wins championships, then.
I mean, Shaquille Quarterman has a chance, I think, to be one of the premier defensive players in the entire ACC. Diaz is a fantastic defensive coordinator who's really turned that.
Is he?
Yeah, I think so.
He wasn't before he got here.
I think he's made the difference.
What he did with that young defense last year was really impressive.
Okay, but he was run out of Texas.
Different time, different place.
Okay, but you guys are telling me he's really
home.
good. I've heard for 15 years many of you guys tell me how good the coordinators are, and then you eventually run all of them off.
See, you have to define what the U is back means. I don't think the U is back means they're going to win the national championship right now. The U is back to me means the U is ascending. They're getting closer. They're on the right track.
They're trending.
Yeah, and I just think Canes fans have the right to feel really good about the program right now, despite your naysaying over there, Batard.
Yeah, urinator. Take a call, Dana.
Sure thing, Stugatz.
Well, I mean,
Joey. Good. We're good. Joey, you're on with Stugatz. Go ahead.
Hey, Stugatz. I asked you a question a few weeks ago about Kyrie Irving, where he's going to go.
Yeah.
And you were wrong. Where do you think he's going to go now? And when?
All right. Good call. Rash him. I think Kyrie Irving's going to end up with the LA Lakers. That's where I think he's going. I think this thing has been all planned out. I think LeBron is going to send Kyrie to LA. They're going to get Brooke Lopez back. LeBron's going to tell Dan Gilbert it's a guy he's always wanted. And that if he gets him, perhaps he'll stay there for a bit longer. And then LeBron's going to meet Kyrie Irving next year in L.A. with Paul George, with Dwayne Wade, with Carmelo Anthony. Book it. What do you think, Greg?
I think it's extremely interesting that Woj, the great Woj, reports that the Heat is one of 6 teams that has actually put in a bid for this guy, and the Heat come out publicly and say that's not true. Somebody's lying here. Somebody's wrong. I tend to side with Woj. How about you? You're an insider.
I side with Woj as well.
I'm always surprised when the Heat go to those lengths to deny something. So when they go to those lengths to deny something, I tend to believe them because it's not something they do very often.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Anything else on the Canes? Have we? We're good. Bury that topic.
I worry about Mike in general because his analysis on the Hurricanes and the Heat can't be trusted because it's emotional.
It's very clear. I won that debate. Very clear.
But you're always emotional about these
very
things,
clear.
and you're undeterred by being wrong for 15 years.
But he's a fan.
Like the happiest I've seen you is when they fired Randy Shannon, and then the happiest I saw you after that is when they fired Al Golden.
Right.
Yes.
But the Jets are going to be so lousy this year. I know it. But you know what? There's a part of me that says, "What if?" And that's what fans do. We dream big.
I know, but I'm not a fan, Stugatz. It's not my job to come out here and dream big.
Yeah, I understand. But
I'm not a fan either, and I'm not dreaming.
But I'm out here every day reading what the beat writers are saying about this team. I'm looking at recruiting every day, and for you to just come on the air and say they're not going to be good because I got a freshman quarterback.
No, they're not going to be the kind of good that you expect them to be. They are good. You can't be good. The kind of good that you want them to be.
What do you think I
can't
expect
be
them
that
to be?
kind of good with a true freshman quarterback. You expect them to win the ACC, Mike.
I expect them to get to the ACC championship.
Okay, well, they haven't done that the entire time you've been wrong about them.
Okay, well then every expert that's picking the ACC championship game would be wrong because they're predicted to win their division.
Yeah, the Coastal's weak, and Miami's the best in the Coastal. And by the way, Miami would have been in the ACC title game a few years ago if not on probation.
Here's what I want out of this season. I want a competitive game at FSU. I'm going to that game because I have high hopes this season. I imagine they'll lose that game because they'll have a young quarterback that needs to get experience. And then in the rematch in the ACC championship game, I want them to grow to a point where they can win that game.
And it's what you've been expecting the last 4 years, and I've seen you come in here the day on Monday when you're heartbroken because you've expected that for 4 years and you've been wrong every damn year.
Well, I'm not denying that. But this time it's different.
Okay, this time it's different.
Mark Richt is realistic. A year ago at this time, when I first met him in his office, he said this doesn't happen overnight. In college, it takes 2 or 3 strong recruiting classes in a row before you begin to have the depth to compete with
Never
the
won a big
Alabamas.
game at Georgia, I mean. Ever. Never. Ever won a big game at Georgia. I'm on Dan's side now.
Well,
He did win a big game at Georgia. He did win a big game at Georgia. That game at Florida was a huge win.
Resulted in what?
No, but furthermore,
I believe they had injuries after that.
we got
Crank up the excuse machine.
everything about this segment was just Cody being able to tell you that he was in Mark Richt's office a couple of times.
Yeah, I thought that was a subtle aside, but I guess it wasn't that subtle.
It's the only reason we're talking about any of this is because Mark Richt let Greg Cote into his office, and Greg Cote leaves that office and just starts spewing the company line because Mark Richt allowed him to sit in a chair across from him, and it's like, woo, everything's golden around here. Well,
Actually,
that might not
we were
be the
on
right phrase.
Bad phrasing.
We were on a couch. He was not at his. It was an affable, informal meeting between the two.
And you left that office and you just started spouting spokesperson things. You're like you're the mooch of the University of Miami.
Yeah, no, this was a year ago when I did not think that they were going to be all that good. They exceeded my expectations. This year, I think they are going to be pretty good. Not FSU good, but that doesn't mean they can't beat FSU.
But see, here's the thing. This is where I stop you guys. This is like the argument we're actually having is they're not FSU good with a true freshman quarterback.
Right, but FSU was FSU good with 2 freshman quarterbacks recently.
Yeah.
Which one are we talking
Winston
about?
and the French, French dude,
the French kid.
Stay
strong, Dan.
FSU with the French kid lost by 100 points to Louisville.
Yeah, but they circled the wagons.
Yeah,
they circled the wagons.
Had nothing to do with that.
They won the Orange Bowl, I believe.
And secondarily, I will concede your point. If this true freshman quarterback is drafted first overall, Jameis Winston. Man, get the bleep out of here.
You're just taking the one extreme.
Get the bleep out of here.
There's Rosen, there's Darnold, there's the French kid, there's several examples
those teams haven't won anything.
Right, take it easy on the
good.
Take it easy on the quarterback. They only lost by 43 to Louisville. Back on Mike, son. Your phone calls next.
And now, back to Wake and Take with Stugats. Stugats. 786 Stugats. 456 Stugats. 4837 Stugats. That's 786 Stugats. 456 Stugats. 4837 Stugats. Call now. Stugats. 786 Stugats. 456 Stugats. 4837 Stugats. That's 786 Stugats. 456 Stugats. 4837 786 4837 Stugats.
That's 786-456-4837. And if you can't get us there, because the phone lines are popping, you can text the show on the Coral Springs Automall Nissan text line at 67974. So the Marlins wasted a great start from, is it Urena? It wasted a great start last night.
You're in, yeah.
Whatever. Couple of things off of that game. First off, Guillermo, were you rooting for Gio Gonzalez to get the no-hitter last night? Because I maintain if you were rooting for Gio Gonzalez, you're not a Marlins fan.
Correct.
It would have been a nice story. I mean, the only other no-hitter this year was Edinson Volquez. He did it on his friend Yordano Ventura's birthday, who passed away.
Yeah.
Yesterday was Jose Fernandez's birthday. It would have been a nice thing. He met his family. But to be honest with you, like in the ninth inning, I was like, meh. Like if it happens, I guess I'm okay with it. I wanted him to walk D. Gordon, though, and I wanted Stanton to hit a 2-run homer to end the game and end the no-hitter.
So it could be just like that Scherzer game from earlier this year?
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for.
Put it on the poll. If you were rooting for Gio Gonzalez to throw a no-hitter last night, are you not a Marlins fan?
It was nice, though. The fans gave him a standing ovation. We looked good. That was great.
He's a Miami kid. I was rooting for him to get it.
That's why I wanted it, because he's from Miami.
Really?
Yeah, I was rooting for him to get it because of all the Jose Fernandez stuff, because of what Billy just said. He met his daughter before the game. He would have been emotional after the press conference. He doesn't go deep in games like that. He's a Miami kid, and he was pitching really well. What difference does it make whether they lose 1-0 on not a no-hitter or 1-0 on a no-hitter?
These games are important, man.
Yeah, we're still in it, Dan.
Yeah, playoff push.
You're a Marlins fan.
In the mix.
Fair enough, you guys want to root for that, too, because that's another thing you've been wrong about for 15 years. Every time since the wild card's been in play, where you guys say 10 games out of the wild card is in the mix.
I mean, they had a gem yesterday, Burrenia, and today, Dan, the O'Great one takes the mound again, get us right back in it.
O'Great one?
Oh, he's our ace, yep.
Chris O'Grady, the O'Great one.
The O'Great one.
Can I explain to you guys
and
what...
15 years ago, I believe, I don't know the math on this, but that 03 falls within that window when they won the World Series, so we were right.
As the wild card. Yeah. This is my frustrations, you guys. This is it in a
with
capsule.
Me or the show or the hour or everything.
With this arguing this University of Miami stuff. This is my frustration.
Oh, we're back to that.
For so many years, I argued with Dolphin fans because I'm like, Jay Fiedler's not good enough. And the argument on the back end was, well, the Ravens won the Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer. So you're pointing to the outlier and telling me that the Dolphin defense has to be as good as the historically great Ravens defense in order to win the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, yeah.
This Heat team, when I tell you this, you can't beat Golden State this way. This is not the way to do it. You can't do it without any All-Stars. The answer is like the Pistons did it one time without any All-Stars. And you point to the outliers again and again. And so when I say true freshman quarterback, show me the titles, the answer is Alabama. It's the only answer. I mean, I guess you could go back to Bernie Kosar in 1983 for the Hurricanes.
Right. Well, Jameis Winston.
As a freshman. Yeah, but Jameis Winston, okay, it's an outlier. Yes, if this quarterback is a number 1 overall pick, then yes, of course they've got a championship chance. But what are you banking on when you throw that out there to me?
Banking on hope.
Yeah, I want to be a year away from being a year away. I'm not thinking about title right now.
Right.
I got 2 shots to beat FSU this season. I want to beat them once.
Yeah, baby steps, man.
Yeah, and when I'm not talking about outliers. I'm talking about the cast that surrounds the questionable quarterback. And I think the UM and Dolphin situations are analogous. We're now in our 6th season of saying, well, is Tannehill good enough? But you know what? He's got a dynamic running back, and he has arguably the best trio of receivers in the league. So that makes him better.
Wait a minute. What did you just argue?
That he has a dynamic running back.
Wait, did you just argue that the Dolphins have the best receiving core in the league?
I think arguably they have the best trio in the league in Devontae Parker, Stills, and Jarvis Landry.
The best three?
You think those Beckham and Brandon Marshall are on one team, right?
You think those are the best? Like, who is making that argument?
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Listen, it's wake and take, and I like it. That's what this hour's all about. It's about give and take. It's about waking up and giving takes.
I like what you
you're
did.
Killing it.
You threw something out there, and you made us disprove it.
Yeah.
Okay,
now, we disproved it within 5 seconds.
I did it with one team.
Okay, you could argue New England and Pittsburgh.
No, the Giants.
Pittsburgh,
Greg.
too.
No, I wouldn't argue the Giants.
Greg, Odell Beckham Jr., Brandon Marshall, and Sterling Shepard.
Right. Yeah, Shepard is a big drop-off there.
I would also take any team that has a true number 1 receiver on it. I'll just throw out the Bengals because they have A.J. Green.
Well, I actually think Parker's going to have an enormous season this year, and in order for your quarterback to be good, you need Parker to be your number 1 receiver. Your number 1 receiver can't be what Jarvis Landry's been. You need someone better than Jarvis Landry.
When healthy, there's enough reason to get your hopes up. backup when it comes to Devontae Parker, right?
And let me give you a little bit of data here to back up what I just said. ESPN.com, which loves lists, just ranked the 32 NFL what they called offensive arsenals. They excluded linemen and quarterbacks. By offensive arsenal, they meant receivers and running backs. And they ranked the Dolphins.
Tight ends, probably.
Yeah,
right?
Yes. And they ranked the Dolphins number 3 in the league for what that's worth. I'm not saying it proves anything, but it is an indication. The Dolphins have 3 really good receivers and a really good running back, and therefore Tannehill is better. If this freshman quarterback for UM, or they're going to have inexperience no matter who wins the job, if he's got a dynamic running back in Walton, a great receiver, Amon Richards could lead UM as one of the premier. Michael Irvin, good.
He is. You could tell he is great.
Right, and so that elevates the quarterback position.
Better than the Raiders with their receivers and Marshawn
No, what
Lynch
he's saying
now.
is asinine. Like, there's no one in the world who believes that. There's nobody in the world. Not even the Dolphin receivers believe that they're the 3 best receivers.
Yes, they do.
No, they do not.
Yeah, they do.
Cooper, Crabtree, Lynch is better than Ajayi.
Not even close.
No, not at all.
They might have maybe top 15. Maybe.
Not at all.
I can't really win with that.
Not at all. Like,
Well,
not at all?
Eisner.
Okay,
the
good
man,
argument. Well, he wins there.
The
He
man,
wins
over.
No, he trumped
Strong
me.
hand.
No, he brought out the Eisner card. It's over.
Because it's ESPN.
It's over. He threw the big punch.
Walt Disney, who signs your paychecks,
he threw the big
says
punch.
that they're number 3 in the league.
He said Michael Eisner's name as Mickey Mouse. The argument's over.
Thank you.
What?
Speaking of Stanton, would it kill him in that game last night? I mean, the Marlins are down 1-0, playoff push, and D. Gordon gets on base, and Giancarlo Stanton hits one to third base, and for $300 million, can you do me a favor? Sprint down the first base line.
Come on, man.
He's got to run that out.
Sprint down the first base line.
Got to run that out.
I'm sorry, man. It's a 1-0 game.
Bad luck.
Lots on the line.
Yeah.
He was running. He wasn't lazy. He was running. He wasn't going to beat it out if he
Was he
had
at top
sprinted.
speed? Do you think he was at top speed?
Yeah. I mean, run faster.
Okay.
Dan, I'm just telling you, $300 million, run.
I didn't feel like he was loafing there.
He was loafing.
He hit the ball very hard.
Loafing.
And he knows that if it's gloved when he hits it very hard, it's going to be a double play.
Right. And if he runs hard and pulls a hamstring in that situation, you're like, hey, why did he do that? He knew he was going to be up by 40 feet.
I really feel like all of Cody's opinions have been devalued by his Dolphins have the best trio of receivers.
Lost all his credibility with
Did I
one
say
sentence.
arguably? I believe I used
You did
the word
say arguably, but I could say arguably anything.
No, you can't.
I could say arguably. I could say arguably Greg Cote is the best writer in the history of sports.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. I can back up what I've said, not by comparing the Dolphins to other teams, but by telling you why the Dolphins trio is so good. They have a perfect blend of talent. They have the super productive slot receiver. They have the speed guy on the outside in Stills. And in Devontae Parker, they have a guy who is blooming, who is set for a breakout season, and he will be the Dolphins' most dynamic offensive player this season, bar none.
That might be the second craziest thing you've said this week. Yeah. That Chris tells me you were arguing that Pudge should have gone in as a Marlin?
Yes. Correct. Yeah, showing,
I'm with you on that, actually.
Flashing his championship
I'm with
ring.
you on that, yeah.
What did he ever win in Texas?
He played one season with the Marlins.
It was a great season.
It was.
Yeah.
It was a career-defining season.
His greatest season.
Yes, his greatest.
Piazza should have gone as a Marlin, too.
It was not his greatest season. No. It was not Pudge's
He was there for a minute and a half.
Put it on the poll. Are you horrified by what Pudge looks like at this age? Yes or no?
Where'd the hair go?
Put it on the poll. Pudge is such a cooler nickname when you're a fit catcher who's one of the best defensive players ever. Pudge is such a terrible nickname when you look like what he looks like now.
He looks like Pudge now, though.
Yes. He looks yes. Correct.
I thought it was like an ironic nickname before when he was up and coming.
Right.
You know, the fat guy they call Slim.
Are you horrified?
At the appearance of Pudge?
Yeah, did you want to take some calls?
Yeah. Thank you for the reminder. Let's take a call here, Dana. Line 4.
Jimmy, you're on with Stugatz. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Bam, in the shipping container. If one thing for the rest of your life, papa rellena or croqueta?
One Cuban food for the rest of your life, croqueta or papa rellena? For me, it's papa rellena.
Great call, ration.
I think he asked the shipping container.
Man. Well, are there proteins that we have to take into account? I think we get more protein from the papa rellena. That's more of a balanced meal.
What's papa rellena?
It's a potato with picadillo inside.
Oh, I love those.
Awful. It's got the croqueta outer
Awful.
crust.
Yeah, I hate those.
Not a fan of that.
Awful.
Yeah, I've had them. I hate them.
You don't
What?
like papa rellenas?
No, me
All
neither.
right, put this on the poll. Is Greg Cote a communist for not liking papa rellena?
Wait a second. Is the color gone? Color's gone. Can I get any croqueta?
That's a good question. I was
Well,
wondering.
hold
does it
on
have
a
to be the
second. There are
same
different
croquetas?
kinds of croquetas?
Can I get different kinds of croquetas for the rest of my life? Because there's only one way to make a papa rellena, really.
Papa umama.
What?
He's just doing his own show.
amazing.
Like, you just saw it. He's doing his own show that you just have been saying Papa Rellena, and so it triggered a 1950s song, that he saw on Sha-Na-Na.
No, that's the Beach Boys.
What's the next?
Come on, shipping container, everybody now.
Okay, Kevin, for the grand prize of $1 million, what color is the White House?
I know this.
5 seconds.
Oh, switching to Geico could save you a bunch of money on car insurance?
Okay. Judges? That's true, Kevin. They'll allow it. Congratulations. You're a winner.
Woo!
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
And now, back to Wake and Take with Stugats. Call now, 786-456-4837. If your phone has letters on it, we have made it easy for you. Dial Stoil Mites. S T O I L M I T E S. Unless, of course, you are out of the area. In that case, dial 1 Stoil Mites. 1 S T O I L M I T E S.
If you missed it, it is 786-456-4837.
Or if you have a touch-tone phone, Stoil Mites. We made it easy for you.
Good point. Greg, you mentioned before the show the HBO hacking story. You had some interest in that.
Yeah, I'm a Game of Thrones fan, so it interests me that everybody's concerned about this script being leaked. One person in the entire country is not going to watch Game of Thrones because they have an idea of the concept. So it's much ado about nothing in my mind.
I'd be. I know HBO's concerned about it. Would you watch if you had access to the hacked?
No, I don't binge watch. I don't watch shows in succession. I watch them at 1 week intervals. I don't even like to. Is TiVo still a thing? I don't even like to record something and watch it later.
Mike, can I ask you this question? I had this happen to me on Netflix the other day because I like that Ozark show that you introduced me to. I've seen 8 episodes of it, and there are 10 episodes in the first season.
Oh, we're just as far into it.
But on my Netflix, the 9th and 10th episodes of the season are repeats. I can't get it to show me the new 9th and 10th episode. It's one of the earlier episodes. Has that not happened to anybody else? Like, I can't tell. I started to watch the 9th episode, and it was clearly an episode I'd already seen. It's like a glitch on my Netflix.
It's a Netflix exclusive? Is that what it is? It's their series?
Yes.
Yeah, something's going on with yours. A couple of Netflix have glitches. I had watched episode 8, and it started going into episode 9, and the start of it was not one that I'd seen, so something's clearly wrong with yours. My Netflix, my controller's possessed. I can't. I have to fight it. I have to hold down the controller as hard as I can to type in.
Chris, I saw you retweet something the other day about how much money Netflix has lost.
Yeah, they're $20 billion in debt.
$20 billion in debt.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Big Netflix. What have they ever done? I'm tired of everyone telling me how great Netflix is and asking the question, how much is Netflix worth? I'll tell you how much they're worth. Negative $20 billion.
It's, behind the show a little bit, some production. When you guys brought up the HBO story, I turned to Roy. I was like, damn, we're going to have to rewrite the first And Finally because they ran with it. I was like, take that Netflix story. That's a great And Finally. So we burned through 2.
The Netflix thing that I read, though, that was funny is that investors say they're not worried. How is it possible that you are in a business that's $20 billion in debt and you're not worried? I don't understand enough about business. If you've arrived at a place where your content puts you $20 billion in debt and investors aren't worried.
Yeah. I mean, they have Bleep You money, so they're just not worried.
Evidently.
Yes, plus there's tax write-offs. There's all kinds.
Again, $20 billion in debt. Their debt would make them one of the richest people in the world if someone just had the money that they owe.
Correct, yes. If someone had their debt, yes, they would.
In fact, Bezos was the richest person in the world with $90 billion, correct? Worth $90 billion?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if you're worth $20 billion, you're worth more than Mickey Arison. You are more. Mickey Arison, the money that he has.
By a lot.
The money that Mickey Arison has, you're in debt. Like, I don't understand. Does anyone understand this world where Kushner can be someone who doesn't disclose $1 billion in loans? Like, what world are you living in?
My world. Let's take a call.
Okay. Can I make one more point on the University of Miami?
Oh, please do.
Yeah.
Please do.
No. It's my hour after the call.
Okay, very good.
I've stored it away. I've written it down. I know you have an additional point to make on the Canes, but you have to hit the button.
We're good. It's your hour. Okay. You're out.
Any line. Go ahead. Pick
James, you're on Wake and Take with Stu Gott.
Hey, gentlemen. Good morning from the Badger State. Just want to say that.
So it's me versus you. My dad's in town. Can I offer him an invitation?
Yarn!
And I don't wish that girl any bad luck, but I hope she gets hit with a car.
He's got AIDS.
Go ahead, Malloy! I love selling blood!
Make your point on the Canes.
All right, here's my point.
Here's directing traffic, telling people what to do. It's less work for me. This is amazing.
Here is my point on the Canes.
Give it to us.
It must be such a nice feeling to look at the person next to you and know that content is coming from them.
Yeah, it must be a great feeling for you. Yeah. And on Tuesdays in either direction. I mean, look anywhere, you got it.
This is what I would say to you about the University of Miami, because it's probably not fair for me to compare them to Alabama and say you can't win with a true freshman quarterback unless you're Alabama. But this is what my point is. I know their skill guys are good. I know that their defense is good. I also know this, and this is what I think will undermine their skill guys and their defense. Their offensive line was terrible last year, and then on top of that, if you're going to play a true freshman quarterback, he can't be somebody who might kind of beat out Rozier. He better be better than that. Like I'm not sure whether he's going to beat out Rozier. I'm not sure if Rozier's going to be. We've seen Rozier. Like, you got to be somebody who comes in, and the moment they sign you, you're someone we know is going to be better than that guy, and they don't know that yet.
But they hope so. They think so.
Well,
they think so.
And he will be eventually. I don't dispute that. If he stays healthy, he will absolutely be, but he just won't be his first year.
Great point, Mike. Do you have a counterpoint?
I will counterpoint to that. To fix the offensive line, obviously new players in there, but they're hoping a quarterback with extra mobility. I mean, Rick wasn't necessarily supporting Brad Kaya's lack of mobility publicly, and N'Kosi Perry is that sort of player. And with Rozier, you would think he would get the job. Hell, Rozier had the biggest win of this previous doldrum era of the Miami Hurricanes at Duke, that miracle win on Halloween. They're sort of stacking it against him to win the job because they want N'Kosi Perry to go out there and win it. They can't just go out there and give it to a true freshman quarterback. But the other freshman transferred. He knows the deal. This is Perry's job to lose.
Counterpoint to that, or are we good?
No, that's fine.
And the mobility would help the offensive line. Kaya didn't help them.
I'm just saying he better be a great deal better than Rozier is if you guys want this team to be what you think it can be.
Agreed. He needs to be better than Rozier to beat FSU in the championship game. But Rozier, the division's so weak that Rozier might be able to get you to the championship game.
Well, the reason Rozier is not the number one quarterback right now and the acknowledged starter is that Mark Richt and the rest of that program thinks so much of Perry that they think he has the chance to come in here and absolutely seize that job.
I know there's no such thing as a bad highlight tape when it comes to recruiting, but in Cote Perry's film, he looked like he was in college, not that he was your normal high school quarterback. He looked like the kind of player that could come in and be an athletic phenomenon as a freshman quarterback.
Right, do it in college, though. I'm back on Dan's side. Let's take a call.
John, you're on with Stugotz on Wake and Take. Go ahead, John.
Hey, Dan, I got a question for you. For your earlier Netflix, your quick answer to that is they hate you.
Very good.
All right.
Yeah, I got a quick. Dan, when is the next time you're going to throw your headphones in a fit of rage during a bad interview?
Have I ever done that?
Mike, has he ever done that? I don't.
Not during a bad interview. He's throwing his headphones in a fit of rage, but not during a bad interview.
Right. The guy did.
I have sound. I have sound of him throwing something. Yeah, water bottle. Let me get that. Ric Flair.
In fact, you have two sounds. You have sound of Dan throwing something, and you have sound of me throwing something during commercial. With Ken
hang
Arnold.
on. Let me get both of those.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
In the interim, want to take another call?
Yeah, why not? I mean, the phone lines are popping.
Steve, you're on with Stugotz on Wake and Take. Go ahead, Steve.
All right, first of all, let's not pretend like Jameis Winston didn't carry that team to the national championship. He did it by himself. He was the only thing special on that team. Second of all, the Dolphins receiving corps. Hey, I mean, I heard a lot of people making fun of my man Greg Cote over there, but nobody threw out a good counter argument. You trotted out the New York Giants. Odell, sure. But ancient Brandon Marshall and that third guy I never heard of ain't getting it done. Fugazi.
All right. Thanks.
Rash, the third guy was the third guy was better than Kenny Stills was last year. That's Sterling Shepard. I'm pretty sure he was. And Brandon Marshall he'd be the number one wide receiver on the Dolphins.
Sterling Shepard.
Brandon Marshall would be the number one wide receiver here, would he not?
Well, I happen to be with Cody on this. I think Parker's going to be special. I also think it's ridiculous to say that the Dolphins receivers are a great trio before you've actually seen that from Parker. We can all think that. We have not seen evidence of
there's
that.
There's a little supposition on my part. But, look, all three guys are 25 or younger. If you're looking at trios around the league.
Wait a minute. Stills isn't 25, is he?
I believe he is.
Stills is 25.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Really?
Yeah, he's 25.
God, I'm stunned by that. I thought Stills was in the league
I thought he was
forever.
playing 6 years ago.
I thought Stills was on, like, the Terry Bradshaw Steelers.
I thought he was on the Super Bowl winning team.
Are you kidding me? I'm stunned.
I thought he was my age.
Kenny Stills is 25 years old?
That's right. Like I said, I ain't lying, man.
Yep, he is. He had basically the same year last year as Shepard had for the Giants. And Shepard was a rookie.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'll take Stills.
Essentially. Okay, that's fine. But Stills is I guess he's your third wide receiver.
Well, but wait a minute. Wouldn't the Steelers wide receivers be better?
Yeah, especially his argument is skill talent, tight end, wide receivers, and running backs, and the Steelers easily when you include Le'Veon Bell, too.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I said initially that when I say the Dolphins arguably have the best offensive core, I would put New England and Pittsburgh probably ahead of them. But it is arguable, particularly if Ajayi has the year he did last year.
All right, let's listen to some sound here of Dan throwing a water bottle.
I don't know if you watched WrestleMania, but I'll put any WrestleMania up against anything.
I ruined a Ric Flair interview by asking him depressing questions, and then I threw a water bottle against the glass that separates us from the shipping container filled with frightened refugees, and the water bottle and a hockey stick fell to the floor.
I don't know if you watched WrestleMania, but I'll put any WrestleMania up against anything.
And some pucks. Some pucks also fell to the floor.
All right, and here's me throwing my headsets. Before we break, want to bring on my good buddy Ken Arnold, Everglades Capital Management, the Hirsch Arnold team. Kenny, how you doing today? Kenny. Waiting for Ken, trying to hook him up here. Ken, you with us? We'll try again. You guys got him? We'll take a quick time out. You guys figure it out. Goodbye.
Guillermo, put it on the poll. Whose rage-filled throwing things fury is funnier, mine or Stugatz's?
I don't know if you watch WrestleMania, but I'll put any WrestleMania up against anything.
Before we break, want to bring on my good buddy Ken Arnold, Everglades Capital Management, the Hirsch Arnold team. Kenny, how you doing today? Kenny. Waiting for Ken, trying to hook him up here. Ken, you with us? We'll try again. You guys got him? We'll take a quick time out. You guys figure it out. Goodbye.
I love him hanging up on the show.
Yep, saying goodbye.
Throwing his headset and saying goodbye.
I think yours sounds funnier, though, Mike. Can you get it again? Because one thing falls and then another thing falls.
I think what you can hear, I think the order of things is in this order. My water bottle hits the glass, and then a hockey stick, the water bottle, and several pucks hit the floor.
I don't know if you watch WrestleMania, but I'll put any WrestleMania up against anything.
It was a chain reaction of some sort.
Yeah, it was. We got a minute here. Let's squeeze in one more call.
Oz, you're on Shake and Wake and Bake.
Wake and Take, man.
And Bake with Stu Gatz. Go ahead.
Rash him.
Okay. That was a dog barking in the distance.
Good call.
Parker, you're on 790 The Ticket, Bake and Wake.
What do Cody and Dan think are the best things they've ever written?
All right, go ahead. You guys got 30 seconds, just so you know.
I wrote something on a shuffleboard court in Hollywood about 25 years ago that the man was wearing a golden wedding ring, and it was one of the first things I ever wrote that had excruciatingly beautiful detail. And the hell of it is, I'm not kidding.
So your best work was 25 years ago?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I've done good work since, occasionally, but that was a piece, man. The guy had a paisley bow tie, a golden wedding cigar,